Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about corm splitting and growing them out in the vapor method with puddle pads. So I think I've made separate videos on these topics before, but I'm going to put a little mashup together and I got to do it quick because I'm about to do a live show. So we are going to use puddle pads, which are these right here with the screen. This is the vapor method. So you get this container. These are invented by Jen with the fancy plants. You can get them on Palm Street. I'll link it in the description. This contraption right here, and then the screen, which goes on top of that. And then this is where you put your corms on top of, and then you put some distilled water on the bottom and close it up. Forget about it. The vapors come up and cook your corms for you. All right, so today we're going to split some pink poly, venom, and regular old dragon's breath. Why? Because it's my favorite. So if this is something you're interested in, stay tuned. If you are new here, I am Talon. I own Thrive Theory Plant Shop, and I run this channel, Rooted Chaos. If you are not new here, thank you so much for joining me again. Let's get into it. All right, I put you down here so you can see what I'm doing. First, I have a sanitized workspace. Next, you're going to get your corms, and I've already been soaking these corms, so you want to pre-soak in your rooting hormone if you're going to do that first for about 30 minutes before you put them into the puddle pad. You get your corm. Let me see if I can hold this up a little better. This is your Alocasia corm. This is the top where the roots and the leaves will grow from the top up here, and then you have your bottom down there. So when I cut them, I'm going to cut directly down the center of it, down there, and you have to make sure you get a little piece of the tip in every single cut in order for it to work. So I'm just going to hold on to it, and I'm going to make my cut straight down the center. I hope you can see this. I can't really get it any closer. So I'm going to cut directly down the center with a sterilized scalpel. And then if you want, you can cut it into multiple pieces, depending on how big your corm is and how comfortable you are with cutting it. So there we go. There's my direct cut. You see I have some of the tip and then some corm. Same with this piece. I have some of the tip right there and then corm. So I think that I'm going to just, for time's sake, leave this as these two. I do have a lot of the pink poly, so I'm just going to cut them in half for now. And then I'll go from there and see if I want to cut them again. So I'm going to cut the next one. And again, I'm going to cut it straight down the middle and just make sure that I have a piece of that tip in both sides of my cut. Just cut that little end piece off. So I have two pieces and I have some of the tip in both of my pieces, and I'm just going to set them over to the side, and I'm just going to keep going until I've cut them all. You can peel them if you so choose. I do not so choose. Right down the center. Make sure you have the tip in both pieces. Set it off to the side. It's important to make sure that your workspace is sanitary because you don't want to contaminate these, especially since you're cutting them open and exposing the middle of them. You just want to make sure you're working on like a clean surface, which I did sanitize, and after I sanitized it, I sprayed it down with some Physan 20 just to like extra clean it. Probably should have some gloves on, but alas, I do not. I'm doing a live show on Palm Street at 7 o'clock, and it's like 6 o'clock now, and I have so much to do still. before I go live to get ready, and I am not. I am doing this. All right. That is all of the pink polycorms that I have. And I think a couple of them I will go ahead, some of the bigger pieces, I'm going to go ahead and cut again. So here is the half that I'm working with. And I'm just going to cut this half in half. But I'm going to make sure that I have a piece of the tip. If it's too small and you can't get a piece of the tip, then don't cut it any further. Just leave it where it is. Okay. There's that. And there's a couple other big ones that I'm gonna just cut again. And then I'm gonna leave the rest alone. I really don't need to. I don't need this many pink polys. But for the video's sake, I'm going to do it. Can you see that? So this is cut again, and I have a piece of the tip. And I dropped it. That's okay. I'll cut this one. It's not going to grow right if you don't have a piece of the tip in there. That's where it's going to like grow from. So you want to make sure you have that. I know a lot of people have shown videos of corm splitting, but like have not mentioned that part, haven't said anything about it. So I think it's important to do so. So after I've cut them up, I'm just going to place them on my puddle pad here. I usually place several on each puddle pad because I can. And if I run out of space, I have a backup. I have more. So that's about all I'm going to put on that one. And then I'm just going to put either whatever you have, distilled, reverse osmosis, some kind of water down at the bottom, about a tablespoon's worth. You don't want it to come up to touch this because it's the vapor method that's going to come up. So once I seal this up, I'm going to seal it up nice and tight. And then the vapor from the bottom will come up, and that's how it's going to grow the corm. It's not actually touching the water, so it's not the puddle method. That gives you more chance to rot, get fungus, such as that. So this is just the vapor method, so it's a whole lot safer and cleaner, and you get way less loss that way. So here's one container put to the side, and I'm just going to keep moving through the rest of them, and then I will come back in just a minute. And here we go. Here's all the corms that are nice and cut. You can see that I do have a piece of the tip in each one. And I'm going to now just put them away somewhere. I'm going to leave them alone. They do not need heat mats, and they do not need light. Corms cannot photosynthesize, so you do not need to put them in any kind of light. I am just going to stack them on top of each other, and I'm going to put them in the cabinet, and I'm going to leave them alone until they have sprouted. Do not open them. Do not mess with them. Just leave them alone. So I have the water to probably about there, which is the bottom of the little riser. And that's it. I leave it alone. Check back with you in a bit once they start sprouting, and we'll talk some more about it.